Good morning. Uh, I wanted to talk about something that I've been seeing pop up on LinkedIn lately and YouTube and other social media out there, both on a professional level and also on a personal friendship level, so to speak. So that is to do with double brokering and co-brokering and the difference between the two. And oftentimes, co-brokering and double brokering are two terms that are actually misinterpreted and they're used or interchanged incorrectly. Both of them have their own meaning, but the importance of understanding them will be able to properly advise our clients and avoid any misunderstanding resulting from, confusion in lingo or confusion in terms used when talking about these two subjects. When it comes to co-brokering is the collaboration between two brokers. The involvement of the two brokers to ensure an efficient service before the actual goods is being passed to the carrier often occurs for logistical reasons and you know for example, not knowing a certain area or special type of transportation or different type of mode, or maybe a completely specific or um, product such as produce or something that ice cream or whatever that you are not comfortable doing, but you still want to provide that service to your customer. You want to be able to show them that you are versatile in your offerings, so you co-broker with a broker, yourself being the broker, but you are advising your customer of what is happening and what carrier you are sending in to pick up that load. So you are telling your customer, I am sending in ABC Express to run this load, as opposed to I'm sending in EFG Express and then something else happens, which we will talk about in a second. So co-brokering is legal. No party pretends to be an entity that it is not. It is a strategic collaboration whose goal is to increase the efficiency of the transportation chain and increase efficiency, sub increase the capacity, and sub increase the offerings that you can for your customer. Um, for example, people come to me or anybody else that provides quality expedite services, whereas they focus on something like full truckload or less than truckload or heavy haul freight or specifically just standard produce freight, if there is such thing as standard produce freight. Um, so with that being said, they would come and they would say, here's a co-brokerage agreement, let's set one in place, and let's go back and forth and cover each of our shipments when the time is right to do so in areas of lacking capacity, in areas of maybe unknown territory, in areas of specialized transportation. So that would be an example of co-brokering. Double brokering it involves two carriers. Double brokering occurs when one carrier passes on its shipment to a second carrier. But when that happens, the first carrier actually does not use a broker's license. Rather, they use the carrier's license under which the contract was made for the shipment. Or even worse off, the carrier might not even hold a broker's license and would be acting in it's an illegal action, right? So you're brokering freight, you don't have a broker's license to give that freight to another carrier. And this lack of transparency actually increases risk for the original broker, whoever tendered that load. For example, if I was involved in that transaction, I gave it to a carrier. That carrier says, yeah, we're going to send our own equipment in. And then they broker that load without a brokerage license to another carrier to go in, pick up that load, and deliver it. You know, um, a risk for that for the original broker would be no proof of insurance provided by the second carrier. In addition, it already um, like the carrier at fault refuses to pay the carrier to whom the product was given to or the shipment was given to. So what happens there is that carrier, the carrier that ran that load, that actually delivered the load, has no choice than to reach out to original broker or the consignee to get paid, because what happens is if that carrier that took that load, who's acting as the intermediary between the actual carrier and the actual broker, might refuse to pay that carrier that actually did the load. And so what happens is that carrier's like, we need to get paid. What's going on here? So they do some research, some investigation, and they find out the original broker. Or if they can't find the original broker, they'll go to the consignee and be like, hey, this is what happened. We need to be paid for our services. To avoid these things happening, the U.S. has actually banned double brokering. How can I say? It's not legal. It shouldn't. It's unethical. It's not the right way to do it. In Canada, however, double brokering is actually not prohibited. So in order to actually avoid this situation, you have to have something, some kind of clause or something um, in your contracts, um, and you can add something like between the broker and the carrier, where in what instances you can do such things, but it has to be written and agreed upon. So to kind of conclude, co-brokering is actually a collaboration between two brokers, while double brokering involves two carriers and results in the lack of transparency from the initial carrier. And this issue can actually lead to consequences and inconveniences and inefficiencies that nobody wants. So that's the difference, in essence. Hopefully it's clear. Let me know if you feel that it is clear and understanding now what's happening. So co-brokering, collaboration between two brokers. Double brokering is involving two carriers. Oftentimes, the first carrier that takes the load from the broker brokers it out, rebrokers it to another carrier without letting the original broker know that a load was actually tendered to another carrier, and it just exposes everybody to risk. So, risk for payment, risk for insurance, risk for payment issues, and everything. Not payment issues, accidents that could happen where liabilities are then brought to the table. So yeah, so hopefully that helps kind of clear the air on that. I've just been seeing a lot of stuff on YouTube that's just not correct. The way it's being defined, the way it's being explained, not even defined, but just explained, is not the right way. So thank you very much, and hope this helps. Cheers.